What's up guys, and today I'm going to be making my first UCAT 2025 video. This is going to be a quick, easy guide to be able to come to in your breaks, because I know me personally, when I was doing the UCAT, I didn't love having to watch really long-winded videos about the UCAT, because I felt like I had to get all the revision time in, all in one big go. So these are going to be hopefully some 5-minute videos. The plan is to give you some quick guides on what's actually on the test, how to get started with revision, and especially, locking in now. Because if you put it off too long, it can get a bit rough. So, at this point, you might already know there are 4 sections to the UCAT. You've got VR, verbal reasoning, DM, decision making, QR, quantitative reasoning, and SJT, situational judgment testing. For verbal reasoning, you have 22 minutes for 44 questions. This gives you about 30 seconds per question, but in my opinion, this is one of the harder sections where time does get a bit rough. So if anything, I feel like depending on how you take it, I put a lot of focus on VR because I thought it could have held me back in the actual test. For decision making, it got a boost because abstract reasoning got removed. Very unfortunate for me because abstract reasoning was my best one, but still, now it's 35 questions in 37 minutes, gives you about a minute question. This is a lot better than last year because now you have more time to look over the questions with DM because they all tend to have these logic puzzles which help you have to work through, note down information for, and all sorts of that. We'll get into that in the individual videos for each of these. Quantitative reasoning is 36 questions in 26 minutes, giving you about 43 seconds for each, meaning you have to work through those math questions quickly, get used to the calculator, be able to quickly write down information for your questions, and be able to keep numbers flowing in your head well. And then finally, we've got SJT, which is still 69 questions in 26 minutes, giving about 23 seconds per question. In my opinion, this is one of the nicest ones, depending on how much you revise, because as you know, this is judged separately, this is judged in bands, while these three are going to be judged with, full grades out of 900. Okay. In my opinion, one of the best websites for learning is Medify. It's what I used and how I continuously bashed out practice papers, continuously did untimed mocks. Just working to try and get more understanding on each topic was what helped me, in my opinion, to do well in the UCAT. In the end, I believe Medify and its harder in a sense questions was a big help overall to helping me get more confidence when I came to do these official ABCD tests. On the official UCAT website, you'll be able to find 4 practice tests, 2 of them which are, I believe, at a much higher level, and then the C and D tests, I'm not sure if they changed this year, I'm going to double check, are going to be almost exactly or similar to the actual test. Because when I came to it, it's going to be a different number for you guys, but I got around 2,100 maybe on the A test, but then went up to like 3,200 on the C test. So we can see there's a genuine gap there because I did them very close to because I did them about 5 or 6 days before my test because I felt like the official ones I would save until close to the test. Because Medify is something they're estimating. This was what they were directly giving us. Now, onto one of the things I think is very important for this. This bell curve. When you are preparing for the UCAT, you're not immortal. It's not even immortal, really. It's like there's no chance you can push everything for almost 2 months straight. It's not healthy, and it can end up to you having a lower score. Studies have shown that students tend to have a peak with the UCAT over here, where you get the highest score. And sometimes, if you don't time your revision properly, if you start too early or start too late, you might end up, let's say you started too early, you might end up over here, starting to burn yourself out and get a lower score than you could. Because I know a lot of you guys can achieve this high score. But sometimes if you don't time it properly, and you don't learn effectively at that time, you can maybe get put on the lower end of these bell curves. Now, as you know, the test is taken on a computer. You will have 2 hours in total for the UCAT. And each band is around 300 to 900. It's a general score based on it's a general scoring based on how well you did compared to other people. And SJT is done in bands 1 to 4. Now, I'm gonna give you guys some general revision advice. Again, I said we'll get into these VRDM, QRSVT in separate videos. They're all gonna each one. But for now, you need to start understanding the questions. There's no point in just throwing yourself at the question. Because I'll be honest, first couple of days of it, I threw myself directly at the questions, thought I would easily get through them after doing the 11 plus. Doesn't work that easily. The UCAT is a big step up from the 11 plus or any other IQ test you tried to do before. You have to understand the formatting of the questions. For example, in DM you have logic questions, you have pie diagrams. You have to be able to learn how to solve each of those before you get stuck into the questions. My advice is using untimed resources for that. Try to work through the different question types, find out how you answer each of them, look for advice about it, and that will help you a lot in later times. Next up, timing. Timing is super important in the UCAT. It is not a nice standardized test where you'll be able to just take as much time as you need. You have a set amount of time and you need to crack on in it. The UCAT is all about working on getting your speed and your accuracy to go hand in hand. You need to make a realistic revision schedule. You cannot physically push yourself too hard for this, else you'll end up in this red area here, where you could burn out or you just don't get effective revisioning. So I advise you to be, right now, I feel like, depending on when your date is, because as you know, you can plan the UCAT to be from any time. Obviously, you guys have already booked it, right? But it can be from almost like July-ish, end July, to end of September. So you need to be able to prep yourself to have maybe, I'd say, a month at least between you and your test, where you know in that month you're going to work 100%. So you also have a mix of resources. In my opinion, I did pay because I was very concerned about my future. But if you don't have the money to pay, there are lots of free resources online. I'm even making free resources now to help you out. But sometimes you need to pay straight away. Some people buy it almost 3 months in advance. And as I said, if you start too early, you're wasting your potential. You have to find that peak time, which I estimate to be at least a month. So, what I believe is that you should buy the paid resources maybe a month before, because most of them are like a monthly membership. Gives you a chance to save money, in my opinion. Just say that's what I did. I bought a UCAT book, which I flicked through before time, but it wasn't really giving me the full experience. So when a month before the test came and I got Medify, glorious. I'm not sponsored, but it's amazing, I'll be honest. It really threw me for a loop. Because at the time, the book I was using was helping, but it was much better to get the experience of a almost standardized version, because Medify provides a similar experience to the actual test. So do the official tests, but you don't want to get rid of them too quickly. There are official individual sections on the website, but again, it's a case of not using up your official resources too fast. And if this helped, I'll be going in deeper depth with each section soon, hopefully. Start with verbal reasoning and how to try and get through it. I can't lie, it's hard to work out the time issue, but yeah. And so yeah, subscribe if you wanna join me for this prep for medicine, UCAT, A levels, and anything else I decide to post on this channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope your UCAT goes well if it's the last video you see from me.